So the vehicles, obviously you're not going to lift the vehicles. The large bulky stuff, leave on your property. That's more of a long-term thing to clean up. But the metal bin could be for stuff that you can hand bomb. I know people are eager to get cleaning. With the larger metal stuff, the way that'll work is we're working on trying to work with one of these recovery groups Dale was talking about, and they would actually come in with heavy equipment that could send that for recycling. So the bins will be in place Thursday morning. We're actually just working on document, just kind of clarifying the rules around what can go in the bin and what can't go in the bin, and it'll be posted on the bins as well. So we'll send that out through the email chain probably tomorrow, and they'll be in place for a 2-week period. So I will say this is unique. Typically we don't bring bins in like this because it ends up being a free-for-all and the issue of hazardous material. But the roundup we did here last week worked really well. Everyone was compliant, and so from a safety point of view, we're comfortable with carrying on with that as long as it stays kind of compliant and we don't have any hazardous issues there.
Nobody throwing their household garbage in there.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Nothing that's going to attract animals, so keep that separate.
So these 3 categories of bin are going to be here like for 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
So
2 weeks at a
as
time.
they get filled up, new ones come?
Yeah, we'll give you a contact number to call as soon as it fills up. We can. So it's not like once it's full then you're done. We'll keep it moving for a 2-week period.
Thank you.
So it's a 2-week marathon. They just
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give the contact number to call when it's full.
You can give the contact number to.
So one of the things you have to do is that if somebody here has a property and has cars, buses, whatever on it, and wants to hang on to it, we can't take it. It needs to be permission to go, right?
We give you permission.
Oh, so we can
You can't give permission to get stuff, no. As much as we'd all like to, we have to make sure that everybody wants their stuff to
So
go.
it needs to be by the side of the road?
Well, don't worry about that stuff. We'll get that stuff off because you're not going to be moving those buses. We've got machinery that'll move that, take care of that. But we have to have permission to do it.
Ribbon it somehow? So
Well, yeah. We'll talk to make sure that we know we can't touch that.
by the way, I spoke to Steve. He wants the majority of it taken out.
Okay, good.
Now, there might be his favorite that he wants to work on, and he's
there are a
entitled to
few.
keep that.
The buses thing? Is that what you said?
No, unfortunately, all 4 buses. Fortunately, they're 100% right up.
Oh.
Oh, so the bus is going or no?
Yeah.
Oh, the buses are all going. But probably not the green one, right?
No.
That one's still
not over
good,
yet.
right?
I don't know.
That's
Oh,
okay.
really? Hang on a second.
That's
I
all
got a pick later.
Yeah, no.
I'll be back. Fires.
Anyway, you understand. So we're going to try and make sure we try and take care of all
Even
that
the
for
cars
you
not
folks.
burning is not good anymore.
Yeah.
That's up to Steve. It's up to Steve.
No, I have one like that.
Yeah, if you have a car that you want picked up.
Perfect.
And I'll be very frank and honest that we've got people coming in, and I'm not sure they're going to go up on the very top of the hillside over there and grab this stuff.
Oh, I'll make sure they're up.
Well, we need to get it down maybe. So maybe it's a collective thing that has to be done to try and make sure that we're looking at all the sites to make sure that all sites get cleaned up, rather than just the ones that they choose. Because they'll have a criteria that they will run with. I don't know the criteria yet. We won't know that till they get to town. Once they come in, we'll know what their criteria is. Then we'll talk about that and figure out how do we get that small cabin, how do we get the stuff from all these other little small sites and get them into where it needs to be gone.
We just need coordination. It can't just
Absolutely.
be, we're showing up tomorrow, get 50 cars down to the lodge.
Well, I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we will get some heads up and we can at least get that fanned out to everybody, okay? Yeah.
What's the name of the entity that's taking these away?
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a salvage company in Kamloops that will come in with a trailer and a Haya. And then they have the Christian disaster relief big folks. They come in with their little skid steers. They just cramp it on and they just move them all around. They've done some amazing work. I seen them at Adams Lake last year. They just, and fast workers, like holy moly, they just, I can't believe how fast these young kids, and everybody's a young kid, but I can't believe how fast they all work, right?
And this is from metal.
This is metal, yeah. Yeah. Any further questions on recovery at this time? And it's a revolving thing that's been going on. So as we come into that, we start seeing, and we're starting to work to try and see where can you guys get firewood. We're starting to try to look at those issues to try and figure out how do we help you get enough firewood for the winter, other than what you've got standing here, right? So because
What
I know
about
that
coppers?
what's that?
Coppers? Toko?
Yes, they're on my list. The phone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
the guy
called-
was out of town on holiday, so I didn't.
I called him today.
What's that?
I called him today.
And what did he say?
Very cold.
Really?
No.
You want me to warm him up?
Very cold.
Let's warm him up.
Hopefully you
We
can.
know how to do that. There's lightning strikes.
No, not that way. No. We'll talk. If he's a no, he's a no. We can't force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. We'll have to try and find some alternate ways of it. So, yeah. And if anybody's got ideas, by me, all means, send me an email. Everybody's got my email address or my phone number. Certainly. Yeah. Or talk to your coordinator out here, and then we can. And Mark's really good at communicating back and forth. And just so you know, I've talked to Mark more than I've talked to my wife during deployment. Sorry.
For firewood, if I'm correct, there is one big company, Painted Rock company, just by the turn after Big Sky on the on the right.
Okay.
They have a huge pile of firewood that they use it for
No, let's.
native. I don't know if it's possible to contact them and to have some.
Yeah. I think I have some firewood. I don't know how many cord I have coming, but it'll be from Honor Ranch. We're hoping. And that's tied in again with the Rubicon, Team Rubicon. So,
Yeah, they stayed there.
yeah, they did, yes. So I think they do that as a form of rehabilitation for people that are suffering from PTSD. Physical work. And chopping wood, I guess, is physical work. So there we go. You guys all know that, right? Yeah.
But I guess it's on us to organize ourselves and figure out how much we need and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah.
I think, we gotta balance between like looking after ourselves and, getting services from like these folks.
Right.
Because I think if we put a notice in the Ashcroft group that, hey, Venables needs 40 cords, anybody got an extra few sticks? We'll get that order, I know, 100%.
Right.
All of
Right.
that would, we'll get CRC to deliver it for free, we'll get Scott, we'll get Wayne, we'll beg, borrow, and steal until we get people to help us out. We got really, really good karma in that town, so.
Yeah. Any further questions?
Mark, is it am I right? And it's all kind of a blur, but did the snowplow get destroyed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snowplow,
So
sander.
like that's the kind of stuff we need to start thinking about. And like I know at least two
I'm
of the three
thinking.
mills were gone. So like these are things that we can start working with Dale to start looking at like like for the plow, like maybe one of the highways contractors has an old piece that they can donate, something like that, right? So let's start kind of thinking about that and like what avenues we can look at to bring those in.
Yeah, absolutely. YRB, Dawson, somebody has one
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's
On
just
that,
a matter of
on that
connecting.
note, do we have, is there anybody mechanic-wise that can go through and look at machinery to help us diagnose stuff that may or may not be salvageable?
Yeah, we can look
Victor.
into it. Yeah.
I know
Mayberry?
Yevgen can do, or Chitanya can do it, but
Chitanya or Victor, again, we're kind of on our own to like pull in our resources.
well,
Is
I
there-
heard there was a Christian group that somebody
Yeah,
said.
I don't know about that one, but we can ask for
Yeah.
sure. Is there a mechanic that works out at Blue Earth
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomy Farms.
or Boomy Farms? But I think he's gone to visit his daughter
Yeah,
someplace
Oh, in
overseas.
Ukraine?
But I think
Yeah.
he's coming back.
yeah, he'll be
I'll be
back.
back in a
He's-
couple days.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
stretched thin already, like.
Well, I get that, but I mean, it's a matter of just take a little bit of time to help out.
Right.
Director Thorpe, would you like to come up and speak to the group here? And
Director Thorpe.
I know.
So official.
Okay, first of all, I'm not Director Thorpe. It's not Tricia. It's hard to believe. I was looking at my calendar. It was a month ago today that we were sitting here
Yeah.
in the sunshine discussing, a month ago today, that we were talking about the road.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday or
Wednesday.
Sunday?
I went
Something like that.
One more day.
No, that was longer. It's been longer.
No,
Oh,
it was
your talk?
Yeah, when I
On a
was
Saturday
doing
morning?
community collaboration meeting.
That was longer.
Yeah, July 13th, a month ago.
July 15th.
That's how much time has
A few
gone
days
by,
before.
but it seems
It was a few
longer.
days
But
before.
we were talking about the road and maybe seeing if we could get it widened, and talking about maybe seeing if we get Modi to monitor the traffic. We were talking about the wildfire training, and there was a small fire at Blue Earth Lake. Here we are, and this community has been amazing. You are resilient, you're strong, you look after each other. You have a lot to be proud of. I've heard Wildfire talking about how well you've done to mitigate, and things would have been a lot worse if you hadn't done what you've done. So you all deserve a huge pat on the back. What I want you to know is that I'm here. So if there's anything you need, you call me. You can pretty well call me 24 hours a day. I think pretty well everybody knows how to get a hold of me. And I'm here. I will advocate. I'll do whatever I can for this community. As most of you know, I've been through this. In 21, we went through this. And it's recoverable, but it's not easy. And there's going to be good days, and there's going to be bad days. And you know what? One foot in front of the other, and you guys, you got it. Just give yourself a little breathing room, and don't be hard on yourselves. Just be proud of where you're at, and you're putting one foot in front of the other. And thank you. And seriously, call me.
And we'll announce those different fees.
Yeah, the tipping fees are going to be covered. We have, it's called discretionary funding. And so out of the Area I discretionary funding, we're going to use that to fund the tipping fees. I haven't been able to talk the province into it either. I've been trying as well as Kevin. But I'm also sending a letter, I'm hoping the board will support me in sending a letter to emergency management to look at those tipping fees and clean up and maybe disaster financial assistance.
Fencing.
Fencing, I can maybe give you an idea on that, because we had an issue with that too. But yeah, I'm here. You just tell me what you need and I'll try and get it for you. Okay?
6 houses and 8 cabins.
Okay, I told you about Mennonites. I told you about Samaritans first.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for any of the groups that were here tonight?
So what are the groups?
Well, we got Wildfire, we've got TNRD,
And I think we'll all, we'll still take some questions, but I think we're all going to linger for a while after if you'd rather come talk to us one-on-one, but I think there was a
sorry,
question
you
here.
had a question.
How toxic is the ashes of a burnt house or something like before?
It depends on what the house is made of when it actually burns down. So the majority of your ashes here are going to be coming from the forest, which is going to be just natural wood and so on and so forth. There must be a makeup of what's made of that chemically, but in the state that it's in, what we need is some rain just to knock it down a bit and then make it not so flyable, and that's where it'll be better. If you're having days, I'll tell you this now, if you're having days where you're seeing the smoke and dust come around, put on an N95 mask.
Oh, I forgot a bunch of them. Did I forget them? They might be in my truck. Suits and masks that Rubicon.
Right.
So, can I interrupt?
Absolutely.
If any ashes that are by a structure that has come down, could be very toxic. Will be very toxic. Any structure that had plastic barrels, irrigation, tarps, ground cloth, it's going to, anything that's fiberglass. I had this big Thule box that sits on top of the car that we never used. A canoe that's melted. All that you need to, well, you are all adults, you do what you want. But masks, gloves, double bag it.
In my tours, I've seen
I mean, you
canoes
guys
in the community. I've seen boats in the community that are all fiberglass, sitting on a trailer, right? All that's left is just the metal trailer and the wire from the tires. That's all that's left of it, and a little bit of the fiberglass around it. So yeah, Mark's right. We need to probably just protect yourselves and get it tidied up that way.
So what happens if you bury it? Like you had a big hole and you pushed it in and buried it.
We're not advocating that you bury it because it's not.
Toxic. We'll talk about that.
Well, it is
off
toxic,
camera.
but yeah, maybe off camera you can do that. Have that discussion. Yeah. Yeah, it can get there. So you got to watch where it's flowing to, right?
I just wanted to say again, I started at the beginning with my big standing ovation there, but I honestly felt if we ever had a fire here in the valley, that we'd be on our own. I didn't think people would come and help us, so thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who put so much effort into saving us. Because I really thought we'd be on our own. And all these people that have come in, firefighters, and structure protection, and you guys doing your emergency stuff, and the recovery, and it's just very warming to the heart.
Right.
Thank you.
So now we're at this point where we need to probably bring Kevin back up, and he can do some closing statements or whatever voodoo magic you do.
I think you've done it. Yeah.
Oh, I've done it all. Okay, sorry. Okay, so like Kevin said, we'll mingle around for a while. If you've got some individual questions for us, then we'll certainly be able to entertain that thought process. Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.